Hello, I'm Nico Pena.
I'm Giovanni Montalongo.
And I'm Trey Banks.
And we are
Netflix.
So they'll be back in a little bit, don't worry about them. Everybody knows Netflix, we're the biggest, we're the baddest. But before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're gonna talk about this press conference, I wanna talk about what makes Netflix. So our mission statement here at Netflix is to grow our streaming subscription business domestically and globally. We are continuously improving the customer experience with focus on expanding our streaming content, enhancing our user interface, and extending our streaming service to even more internet-connected devices while staying within the parameters of our consolidated net income and operating segment contribution profit targets. Our vision statement at Netflix is simple. We want to become the best global entertainment distribution service. We want to license entertainment content around the world while creating markets that are accessible to filmmakers and helping those filmmakers and content creators around the world find a global audience. And our values here at Netflix are judgment, communication, curiosity, courage, passion, selflessness, innovation, inclusion, integrity, and impact. So we're going to be talking about some of our leaders. We have two CEOs here at Netflix. Kind of like the Beatles, they had two main singers. So first one is Ted Sarandos. He's been here longer than our other CEO, so he's a little more seasoned. He's been at Netflix since 2000, and he previously worked in the Southwest. He was VP for West Coast Video, and he brought a lot of that information that he got there when it was a video rental store. He brought a lot of that knowledge over here, and he was very vital in turning Netflix into a DVD rental company into what it is now, the online streaming service giant that we are. And our other CEO is Greg Peters. He kind of looks like Matt Damon a little bit. He went to Yale. He joined Netflix in 2008. He's been all in the upper stratosphere of Netflix management, and he now serves as co-CEO after our previous CEO, Reed Hastings, stepped down. And to talk about some of the industries that Netflix is a part of, everybody knows our bread and butter is our streaming service. We have one of the biggest libraries, arguably the best library, but the other industries we're in, video games, a lot of mobile games there, apparel, merchandise. You see that Barnes & Noble, you can find Netflix stuff, little Funko Pops, and then immersive experiences and events. You might be asking yourself, what does that mean? We're just going into that big market. And for example, one of our things that we have is the Squid Game, the trials, where normal people like yourselves can sign up and compete against other people, and you won't die, like in the real Squid Games. But that is a market that we're entering right now. And now we're going to talk about our strategic group. We are in the higher end of the online streaming subscription-based services. We create extremely high quality content that is very hard to replicate. I don't think anybody else can touch us on that. And we distribute this content all over the world. There's very few places on earth that Netflix is not available on. And now we can talk about our competitors a little bit. So our competitors, we have Max there. They have those meh shows, no big deal. And they used to be HBO Max. And we have Disney Plus here. Again, even maybe a little worse. I can't see those competing culturally on a level that Stranger Things or Squid Games does, but there they are, and we can move on past that. And sources of revenue, like I said earlier, our bread and butter at Netflix, subscriptions, but we are also going into the industries, mobile games, apparel, merchandise, makeup, food and drink. We're going into those slowly, yet steadily, and like with the other experience and events, those make up a smaller portion of our revenue, but our subscriptions is mainly where we make our money. And I'm gonna have Gio come up and talk about the present state of the company.
Upon reviewing Netflix's 10Ks over the last couple years, it makes it clear that the streaming market is primarily dominated by us. Previous examples show that Netflix is still investing a lot of money in production and distribution of content. We are always adding new original content to our collection, which includes well-known titles such as The Witcher, Stranger Things, and The Crown. The popularity of superhero franchises such as Marvel's Spider-Man allows us to stay current by bringing into our library of movies that have not only performed well in the box office, but also have cultural significance. On October 31st, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will be released onto our platform, which we think will help keep us closer to our user base and also help us preserve our viewership advantage. In an effort to further strengthen our relationship with our patrons, we have partnered with businesses such as H&M to assist, sell, and promote the eagerly awaited return of the extremely popular series Stranger Things. Millions of viewers around the world choose Netflix because we are a user-friendly design and approach to personalized content recommendations. We also have dabbled a little bit into the interactive media in the past with such films such as Black Mirror, Bandersnatch, which gave audiences a distinctive and captivating experience. But obstacles like escalating rivalry among streaming services and worries over password sharing have the potential to impede our expansion. Next, we will examine the performance of our two largest rivals of our firms, seeing how they all have fared over the last few years. In red, we have Netflix. In blue, we have HBO. In white, we have Walt Disney. But as you can see, over the last 5 years, Netflix's revenue has been steadily rising, whereas it's obviously the same case for Disney, but not so much for Max. Compared to the other two enterprises, we have substantially fewer expenses. Additionally, our net income has exceeded both Max and Disney's, which brings us to our retained earnings and our cash and cash equivalents. Our cash and cash equivalents increased steadily between 2018 and 2020, but during the last 2 years, we have invested more into our creative assets such as original content, posters, arts, logos, and branding to keep our N a staple of the streaming industry, while also doing social media campaigns with memes and X.com through Instagram with merchandising, and also perfecting our personalized recommendations and user interfaces, which because of these efforts has resulted in a decline of almost $3 billion in our cash and cash equivalents. Although still larger than Max, our cash and cash equivalents are not as high as Disney, but that's because we're kind of investing into a Netflix land, which you'll see in like 2042. But anyways, onto our retained earnings. Our retained earnings have been continuously rising, while Max's retained earnings have been declining as of the last year. As anticipated, Disney's retained earnings remains larger than ours because they're kind of almost a monopoly. I mean, like what else am I supposed to say about that? But when it comes to that, their retained earnings did take a hit in 2019, but is still larger than ours. We rank lowest among our competitors overall with a 4.3 out of 5 rating on Google, with a 3.7 out of 5 on the App Store, and respectively regarding our economic worth to our customers. Though our stock prices have been decreasing in relation to our shareholder value, we are still leading in terms of both stock price and market capitalization. One of our shortcomings is a significant portion of our content originates from outside sources, and we are presently unable to stream new movies from movie theaters quickly enough. Due to their ownership of rights, companies such as Disney are able to swiftly release their newest films on their platform, whereas we must wait to acquire before we can even provide the films on our site. But I mean, who really cares about Marvel movies now? They kind of gone downhill. But I think as of right now, one of our biggest strengths is our AI and machine learning, which presents us a chance to seize. By using AI, we can reduce our cost of hiring writers for new series while simultaneously improving our recommendation system, which is already among the best. Well, I'm not going to say is one of the best, is the best, which helps us differentiate ourselves from our competitors. Website piracy is also a challenge that we are currently confronting. Piracy websites provide free access to in-theater movies, which nearly eliminates the need for services such as ourselves. However, if we can assist the authorities in taking action against these websites, we can increase our subscriber base. Our efforts to diversify material and lessen our dependence on licensed content should be improved, as well as a number of well-known titles were in danger of being taken down from the platform due to rising competition in the streaming market. Our business also needs to address issues with inclusion and diversity in our content. The limited representation of some populations in our original programming, which may have been seen as a drawback, drew criticism despite our extensive collection. But one of the areas that we have been succeeding the most in is our original content and the impact it has on our culture. I mean, I don't know about you, but Halloween 3 years ago, I saw a bunch of dudes in a dress and a wig going like this to a bunch of other people saying that they're 11 from the hit show Stranger Things. But in conclusion, Netflix has been doing well. It is also has contended with many fierce rivals and other difficulties that have necessitated our constant innovation and modification in our marketing and product offerings. And now to talk about the future path of Netflix, Trey.
So where do we go from here? With the information that we've gathered, we have a few solutions and strategies to progress Netflix farther. One strategy that we're going to have to implement is going to be with our increasing prices. We do have to come out with more content for you guys, add more content to our platform to make that $20 price point worth it. Because that is a large chunk of the complaints that we've received in our star systems on things like Google and the App Store is people are upset with our pricing. So we're just going to be releasing more content to meet that benchmark that you guys should come to expect from us. Also, we're going to attempt to tackle piracy websites. One way we're going to do that is by lobbying lawmakers and stuff like that to increase the penalty on that, and also providing funding for those particular branches of lawmaking bodies. Another idea that we had was to give better incentives for movie businesses outside of Netflix to put their product onto our site. An additional idea off of this is any lower income groups, like lower income movie producers who want to get purchased by Netflix, we could just buy their movie rights to add, rather than having to pay them any form of royalty, which would help increase our bottom line. Also, at some point, we should begin looking to solve issues such as not being able to bring movies onto Netflix quick enough. We should look to buy some of our competitors, not necessarily competitors as in Disney, but like 20th Century Fox. At some point, being able to acquire them to bring any 20th Century Fox movies into Netflix quicker would be fantastic. Also, with things such as AI coming out, other solutions we could create would be releasing AI bots out onto the internet to destroy piracy websites. It is not entirely ethical. However, it is an option that we have. Thank you. We are Netflix.